I want to start with something I hear a lot of people talking about and a lot of people saying about their messaging. And that is one, I don't know how to explain what I do without sounding weird. I feel like I'm doing everything right, but something feels off. And how the hell do I get my content to convert to engagement, conversations, sales without feeling gross? And honestly, what's wild is that it doesn't matter if you have a defined throat or an undefined throat. I see this showing up in both. And in this series, in this video, I'm going to show you why that is, what's going on, and how to fix it. And this is a brand new series all about the centers in human design and how they're showing up in your messaging. Hey, I am Rachael, and I teach you the art and the science of magnetic messaging using human design. And inside of the Magnetic Messaging Club, students are creating their own one-of-a-kind message that sells for them no matter what strategy they're using. So let's dive into the throat center. I'm going to start with the defined throat, and then we're going to go into the undefined throat. So the defined throat has its own unique way of alignment and how you're blocking yourself, how you're not actually working with the energy of your defined throat. You naturally have a way of speaking. It is very consistent. It's going to show up the same way every single time. And when a client comes to me that has a defined throat and says that they're like frustrated with their messaging, it's because they're going against the way that the energy naturally wants to move. So the throat center isn't actually about communication, or it's not actually about being visible. What it is it's a mechanic of how the energy wants to move out of your body, how your ideas become expression. And when we fight against how that energy actually wants to go, that's when we feel like this doesn't work. I'm frustrated. Why does no one pay attention to my posts? Why is no one engaging? It's because you're working against the energy. So with the defined throat, the biggest thing I see you doing is you think you have to do it one way, like the way that you're taught. It can look like explaining everything that you do. It looks like maybe you're sharing stories when that's actually not your design. You're explaining your method way too much. That's all you're talking about is your method, or you're talking too much to the pain points. And your channel doesn't support that. It's fighting against it. Or honestly, in my own case, that was the shadow of the 1648. That is my channel to the throat. 1648 of not feeling like this is enough. So I would give you all the things to make you feel like you had enough. That was the shadow. And some examples that I want to share is like the 4323. I actually just had an audit client. I audited her sales page. She has the 4323, and she was over explaining all the things. She knew that she needed a pathway into her business, but also she really wanted to talk about these deep ideas and identity and honestly, the cherry on top, transformation. And she was getting convoluted in what she was actually supposed to be talking about and getting herself all twisted up, going, what the heck do I talk about? And really, it all came back to this 4323 channel and how she looks at her niche, which was fashion and identity, like how your fashion, how your style makes your identity. Really bold, which is 4323. It's very outside of the box, which is 4323. But she was getting it convoluted up with what this is your identity, and wait, I need a pathway in, and let's redesign your wardrobe, but that's not really it. Just getting messed up instead of just owning the one sentence, the one thing that the 4323 channel is asking her to say. Your style is your mirror. So when you're looking at your channel, if you have a defined throat, what is the channel that is connecting to your throat? Which channel is that? Is it going to your solar plexus? Is it going to the G center, the ajna? Where is it? Looking and understanding at what is that channel, the lower expression, the higher expression, what is it asking of you, is going to show you what your messaging needs to focus on. It is the through line. always. Another example would be the 1222. I have another client with the 1222. I have gate 12 as my Mercury, but it's not a full channel. The 1222 is not going to be consistent. So if you have the 1222 and you're trying to be consistent, it's not meant nor made to be consistent. It is a moody channel. It's going to be on sometimes and off another time. So if you look at your marketing, what are you doing where you're forcing yourself to be as consistent as possible because people say that that's the way you get engagement. It's the way that your audience grows. You have to show up consistently. What if you're showing up consistently for your energy? What if that was the consistency and not the I need to post daily? Now, this one, the 1222, can get caught up in, but if I'm not consistent, what's going to happen? That's the shadow. What if I don't do this? How can I just show up when I feel like it? It's really sussing out the balance of that. And when do you actually want to show up? When are you excited? The funny thing is that when you take that pressure off of showing up consistently and you're just, I'm here to be creative. And when my creative spark goes, your creativity like skyrockets. You actually end up showing up more when you take that pressure off and you're just like, I am just here to be my self-expression. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny how that happens? All right. One more example would be the 731 to the G Center. This is leadership. And another audit client has this one, and she was trying to be very relatable. Relatable in, I am in the trenches with you, and isn't this like horrible? And we'll get through this. And that is not the 731. The 731 is not relatable in, I am here in the trenches with you. It is leadership. It is meant to empathize and say, I've been there and here's how you're going to get out. I'm going to take your hand and we're going to walk ourselves out of this. It is leadership. And leadership doesn't placate in the pain. It holds the standard up here. It holds the standard of, I'm going to show you exactly how to get out of this. She also had a fifth line, which added another dynamic to it. But the 731, right? Like it's not like you're here being relatable. It's more, I am showing you the path out. So she was focused deep on pain points and what people were struggling with and not showing them how to get out of it. So she was attracting a lot of people that were stuck in it. Right? They would maybe engage, but they weren't buying. It was a tough sell. And once they were in her programs, they were kind of a pain in the butt because she wasn't truly leading. She needed to be leading them and not in the pain with them. Okay. All right. So the big thing that I want you to take away if you are a defined throat is that you have to work with the energy of your chart. And if your messaging feels frustrating, no one's hearing it, it's not working, something feels off, look at your throat. What is the channel and where are you not doing that? There's storytelling channels, there's identity channels and just being yourself. There's like the 1648, which is about mastery and enthusiasm, like really understanding what is the channel going to your throat. It's going to be colored in all the way connecting to another center. If you're going against it, you're probably over-explaining, you're probably over-teaching and not feeling understood right now at all. Guarantee it. I guarantee it. This is the work that we do in the club, by the way, is helping you understand what your channel is, how to adjust your messaging to be in alignment with this. This is why it feels frustrating to take someone else's course on how to do good messaging, because it's what worked for them. It's what worked for their energy and not maybe what works for you. Maybe that person was a storyteller and had the storytelling channel. And so that's what that worked. Oh my gosh, everybody should be telling stories. We're meant to tell stories. Yes and no. Some people are, some people aren't. Okay, if you have an undefined throat, you have your own unique, beautiful way of working with the energy and in your messaging. So with the undefined throat, I can tell you every single undefined throat that's come to me is like, I don't understand it. It feels like no one's listening. It feels like I can talk into the void for days and get nothing back. I want you to know, first and foremost, that your undefined throat is probably one of the most magnetic things when you're working with it. and not against it. What happens is you end up fighting against it, again, looking at what all the advice is and what everyone says sells, trying to do messaging that way, and it's not working because you're fighting your own energy. It feels hard because you're trying to force the energy through something that it was never designed to do. Okay. So you're maybe even saying like, this isn't landing. No one's relating to it. No one gets it. Right. I want you to understand that it is not them. It is the way that you are communicating. The undefined throat needs a container. It needs parameters to work with because it's taking in the energy of all those around you, all that energy, the expression energy, and it's trying to amplify it out. So it's scattering. And when we give it a container, when we give it parameters, meaning an ideal client, we give it the guardrails that keep it in check. And it doesn't feel like it's going all over the place. And you feel like this is what I need to say. This is what I need to talk about. So that's key number one with an undefined throat is have you defined your ideal client? Not in their beliefs necessarily or their aspirations, but what are they daily dealing with? The things that they wake up and have to deal with that they don't want to deal with anymore, getting super specific. And then what do they want instead? Not their desire, because we all have desire to be abundant. Desire, I think when we think about desire, it becomes a more vague and fluffy term instead of being specific. So getting at what do they want instead of this situation? So maybe the situation is, I want people in my DMs going, how to work with you? How can I work with you? That's what they want. That is the scenario they want. That gets way more specific. You can get way more specific in the language that you're using, but you can't do that if you haven't defined your ideal client. If you're trying to talk to everyone, I can solve everyone's problem. Yeah, I can too. Do I want to? No. Should I? No. I'm only going to overcomplicate things and honestly dilute the message, dilute the results. And this is something I had to really learn the hard way, is that you dilute the results that your clients get when you're not speaking clearly to someone specific, your person. Chat helps with this, but you have to know how to prompt chat. I will say that. You have to know how to prompt chat and saying, what are the scenarios? What are the things that, not even what they're Googling, I've heard that, like, what are they Googling late at night? I'm not Googling anything late at night. I am thinking certain things. I'm thinking, I really want the business to scale. I really want this offer to work, or I really, what do I want? Okay. So defining and giving your undefined throat parameters, and you're going to mirror back that language. This is why it's so important to understand what do they want? What are the things that they are saying to themselves, as well as out loud, but specifically saying to themselves, because you're going to mirror that language. This is the biggest difference. This will like catapult your message, and suddenly people will be like, holy shit, I need to work with you when you get this, when you understand. And here's the funny thing. So many undefined throats will say, I don't feel like anyone's hearing me. I don't feel heard. You have to listen first. You have to stop what you're doing, stop trying to make it work, and listen to what your person is saying. This can be challenging because we don't want to do the work. We don't want to go and have the conversations. We just don't want to stop. We want to like push through thinking that we can force the result, and we can't. That's why you feel misaligned. That's why things feel struggle, is because you're forcing it. You stop and slow down and go, who is my person? How can I have some conversations? How can I get in their world and understand them really, really well so I can reflect back what I'm seeing? That's when you stop and listen. That's when your people are like, oh my gosh, I feel so seen and heard by you. That's the beauty and the serious magnetic power of the undefined throat, but you have to stop and listen first. The last piece of this is using, and it kind of goes into understanding and defining your ideal client, but using more coachy, fluffy language versus real language. I see this a lot with undefined throats. Like this is the big one. Defined throats, I feel get more specific. They have an easier time getting specific. Undefined throats really, really struggle because again, they're not looking at who they're talking to, who they're serving, the very specific person, and don't make it up. Like really sit with this. Is there a person that is your ideal client? What are they dealing with day in and day out? Oftentimes, it's an earlier version of yourself, and it's putting yourself back in your earlier self shoes. What were you thinking? What were you feeling? What were you ruminating on? Those types of things. But you end up, because you haven't really defined your ideal person, you're saying things like shadow work and inner child, alignment, embodiment, holding space for you, which is beautiful. It's beautiful. We all need to have someone that holds space for us, and you do. But that's not the language that is going to have your people going, how can I work with you? They don't walk around going, I need someone to hold space for me. They don't. They just don't. They're saying, I feel scattered. I don't know what to focus on. I feel like I'm circling the same pattern, the same thing. I keep telling myself I'm going to change and I somehow can't. That's what you reflect back to them. And that's when they feel seen and heard and their space is held. Undefined throats. Your biggest takeaway I want from this is that you understand your ideal client. You stop. You understand your ideal client so you can reflect back exactly what they're saying, exactly what they want, exactly what they hate, what they want more of, all of it. Their words. So whether you are defined or undefined, if you are struggling with your messaging, it's usually for a very specific reason. If you're defined, you're not using your channel. You're simply not using it, or you're in the shadow of it. If you're undefined, you haven't clarified your ideal client and really understood them, stopped and really listened to what they are saying so you can reflect that in your messaging. This is the work that we do inside the club. And if you're done trying to do it the traditional way with templates and this is how you sell and do it your way in your most easiest, the most delightful, the most simple, not up in your head overthinking shit way, you need to be in the club. I'll put the details below. And right now, I actually have when you sign up, you get a one-to-one with me where we're going to deep dive into your messaging so that you know exactly what's going on and how to fix it. That's it. Next week, we're going to go into the G Center, which is another really big one when it comes to messaging. I would say the three big ones are the Ajna, the throat, and the G Center. But we're going to go through all of them. This is going to be a long series, and I'm really excited about it. I love talking about human design and how it shows up in our messaging. So stick around, hit the like and subscribe button. I would love for you to see all of these different series, but that's it for today. Next week is the G Center. Thanks, guys.